the incredible comrade who was Prudence. The International AIDS Society created the Prudence Mabele Prize through an endowment from the Ford Foundation and the Open Society Foundations, and in partnership with the Positive Women's Network. I'm now going to call on Yvette to come and hand out the Revolutionary Prize, as she calls it, to the first recipient.
Thank you, Sean. This award is a revolutionary prize. It is a prize that comes with commitment and expectations of accountability, not being silent and not being afraid to raise your voice. This prize recognizes these qualities in the recipient and therefore gives me a great pleasure to introduce the first recipient of this award prize. Honoring the legacy of Prudence Mabele, Dudu's leadership and courage in her work advocating for sex workers community embodies so much of what Prudence stood for throughout her life. They both share a vision of social justice that seeks to protect the human rights of the marginalized groups. We are delighted that Dudu has been selected as the first prize recipient of the Prudence Mabele Awards for the values, spirit, and activism that she clearly brings to this work. Mandla. Mandla.
I salute Ma'am Prudence Mabele. Amanda Prudence Mabele, Amanda! Amanda! Good afternoon, everyone. I'm extremely honored to be receiving such important award. I have known and worked with Prudence Mabele for many years, and it is honor to be receiving the prize in her name. Prudence Mabele was fearless, always strive for justice, and act based on what was right. She was a trailblazer, activist for the rights of the women and people living with HIV. She was the first black woman to publicly reveal her HIV positive status in South Africa in 1992. She made deep connection between the fight against HIV, feminism, and gender and reproductive justice. I'm also grateful for these recognitions to be seen to be following in Prudence's footsteps, because I am very sure that every other nominee for this award was capable of winning this award. I also accept this on behalf of all of the other sex workers that make my work possible, and on behalf of all my colleagues and comrades at Sweat and Sisonke and Mother for the Future. I have faced several challenges on my way here, but each one of them has only strengthened me to make me the person who I am. I am grateful to share the same determination that Prudence had. It is privileged that I may carry on this legacy with my own work. Let me bring you in my world for the moment. I am a sex worker. I am a mother. I am a Sisonke organizer, the movement of sex workers in South Africa. I am an advocacy lobbyist at SWET. I am an ambassador of the Coalition of Children Affected by HIV and AIDS. And I work with sex workers, mothers in South Africa to help them and their children. Our children are not getting anywhere near the HIV services they so desperately need. We do not have enough money to take our children to clinic. We cannot afford to give them the food they need to stay healthy. We cannot afford the uniforms and materials for their schooling. We cannot afford to keep them safe while we are going out for the work. We have to leave our children and babies at home by themselves because we need enough to feed them. Even when we do have the money, it's still hard to protect our children from the discrimination that surrounds HIV. Sex workers face stigma and discrimination directly. Our children face double stigma and discrimination. Those children face daily rejection and abuse at school and their communities. In South Africa, by doing sex work, you're breaking the law. Many do not believe we should be mothers. Many of us do not have a home address, so we cannot register our children for social services. They are cut off from many services that every child should have. Many of us die from HIV and violence. If we die, our children are forgotten and they are out of the system. Stigma destroys families. As a sex worker mother, we find it hard to tell our children what we do for a living, and it's even harder to talk about them about HIV. When our children become older enough to understand, they are so often so angry and ashamed that they are leaving home. They go off by themselves with no one to care for them. They are fragile bond between us and our children. It's broken. Last week, I visited 2 sex workers' mothers in Cape Town. They're living under the bridge with their 3 babies. They cannot go to clinic. They do not have money even for the bus fare. They cannot register their babies. They are far from home with no community around them. Me and my colleagues, sex workers' mothers, have organized ourselves into a project called Mothers for the Future. We club together to help each other. We bring these mothers nappies and food for their babies. We teach them about their rights and with the policies and social services. We use our own money to travel to the poor areas to give advice, comfort, and help. We create safe spaces for mothers to meet and be capacitated. Sometimes we have to do sex work just to have enough money to pay our own bus fare home again. We give them money so that they can take care of their children and their children to go to clinic. We help them collect medication. We buy uniforms and material to help their children attend school. We change trust to carry each other's children so that we're going out for the work, we know they are safety. We help mothers improve their own life, and we are with every step of the journey for the long term. But we cannot do this alone. Our money does not go far enough. The support from this prize will help mothers' projects thrive. We have set up in Cape Town and are starting to build support system in Johannesburg and Durban. This funding will help us in strengthening our current support system as well as perhaps helping other mothers and their children in areas. Going house to house and meeting different mothers, we have found alarming gaps in medication for children as well as profound stigma and discrimination. With extra support, we can help make sure that all package of social of the sex workers reach their children. We are mothers, and we like all mothers. Our children comes first. I'm now asking you to put them first. Put them first when you are thinking about who help. Put them first when you are making your plans. Put them first when you are judging, when you have made a difference. And all above, remember that what keeps other children safe from HIV may not work for children of sex workers. We love our children, and they deserve a chance at a better life. What you do today could be the lifeline. Here are some thoughts. Donors, you should expand HIV funding and programs to include social and economic intervention, in particularly social protection and early childhood development for sex workers and their families. Everyone, we must all champion comprehensive national strategies for children affected by HIV and AIDS that include integrated families, age-specific support. And we all to give more resources and decision-making powers community and community-based organization, children and families. Finally, I want to say it is wonderful to see so many sex workers and other activities at the AIDS conference. I want to come back in 2 years, but I know as a sex worker I will be properly never get visa for the USA. Ask the organization to reconsider AIDS 2020 in Trump's America. I really appreciate, and for behalf of all my fellow colleagues, on behalf of all women in South Africa, that we are looking forward to put leaders of Mam Prudence Mabele. Pambili no Mam Prudence Mabele, Pambili. Pambili. I thank you. Thank you.